Welcome to Spiritually Imperfect, the show where the metaphysical meets the practical. This is your space to explore the mysteries of the universe, embrace spiritual growth, and connect with the energies all around us. No one spiritual journey is perfect, but that's the beauty of it. Hosts Mike and Jen bring their unique blend of perspective, humor, and heartfelt nature to every episode. Whether encouraging, facilitating readings, or diving into exploring mediumship, energy healing, or searching for clarity, Spiritually Imperfect is a place to where discussions of the collective experiences that we all share comes to the surface. Now, here are your hosts of Spiritually Imperfect, Michael Christopher and Jennifer Lee.
Good evening.
Hello, Michael. I'm glad to see you made it today.
I survived.
Because I was actually thinking that you might not. I mean, I knew you would survive. I don't mean it like that. That you might not make the show.
But I am. I am here.
Awesome.
Everybody's like, what is she talking about?
Michael went on a road trip today. He went on a road trip on his brand new motorcycle.
160-mile drive with the car and then 140 plus back with the bike. So yeah, I'm ready to go. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Hopefully the new time didn't throw anybody, but we kind of moved it ahead to 7. We're going to make that a regular time now. So we're going to just give it a few minutes and
see who hops on.
See who wants to put up with our shenanigans today.
There's Jess. Hello, CJ. Bernadette.
Hello. That was fun. The weather was nice, except the wind was blowing like... It was fine because it was out of the south, which was pushing me, but you turn a crosswind. Oh my God. Like leaning at like a 45-degree angle just to keep it on the road.
Not so good then, huh?
No, it gets a little sporty.
Hi, Cheyenne.
So we'll give it a few minutes, and then we're going to get started. We have Jen has. Do you have the tea?
No, you heard my story. I do not. It was a difficult day.
That's right.
I'm going to leave it there. There was
we'll do tea next time. So tonight we'll do the usual. We'll have some cards. We'll have some mediumship. So tell us about your experience, because you kind of told us backstage, and it's a good lesson. It's a good lesson for mediums.
Yeah, there were a couple of things that happened to me last week, and if you're a medium or you're a developing medium, I know Michael and I have talked about this before, about ways that spirit teaches us, right? And that sometimes when something switches suddenly in our mediumship, we need to pay attention because we're being taught something. And so that has been happening to me the last week. 2 instances that were really hard. They were really hard for me to trust. It was really hard for me to have that faith because it was so different. One of them, I was scrolling through Facebook and I see posts every single day, right? I see posts that posts of sadness, people that have lost loved ones. Maybe it's a memorable day. They're posting the grave, or they're posting a place, right? I see them. I send my empathy and my love and I move on. Nothing comes to me. Like spirit doesn't come to me reading those. Last week I was scrolling and I came across one, and instantly I looked at the picture and I had an image of 3 items. They were very, very specific items, and they just would not leave my awareness. And I was impressed with the idea that I needed to go find his grave and leave these items there, that they belonged to him, that they had significance. And I resisted. I really resisted. In fact, I resisted for 2 days. And then after the show last week, I asked Michael and Kelly about it. It's like, what do you do? Like, what do I do? This is
And
so
of
weird.
course, I always have the best advice.
Michael said nothing. He said, well, walk away. And that's where I was torn, because it's like I told them, and it's, it would not have been impressed so deeply into my heart, uh, about these items and so quickly if it was going to be rejected. I knew that with everything in me, but it was the reaching out that was very, very hard. But I did that. And she was so open. I got to meet with her. I got to meet with her just last night. Uh, and I got to hand her these items. And watching her with the items, I didn't have to say anything. I literally had to hand her the items. That's what I had to do. I did give her the backstory because it felt like it was important for her to understand that her husband was really reaching out to her. He was communicating with her.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that a little bit, and then I was able to hand her those items. And it was so beautiful and to watch. It had such an impact on her, and it had such an impact, it makes me a little bit emotional. It had a huge impact on me as well, because some other beautiful things happened in that reading, and I don't want necessarily need to even get into those. I just need to say that spirit came through in this most amazing way, and I almost didn't trust it because it was so different, and because it required me to step out of my comfort zone. Was not comfortable contacting her. I was not even comfortable with the fact that I was scrolling, and all of a sudden here was spirit impressing this upon me so hard that I couldn't let it go. I wasn't comfortable with it. So I had to become comfortable. uh, I had to have that like ultimate faith.
Right. Well, like you said too, it's difficult sometimes because of the position we're in of
Yeah.
being mediums. You don't want to seem like you're an ambulance chaser, so it's like, even though our intention is to just have empathy for somebody, we're always afraid of, they may look at that, oh, well, they're a medium, they're just trying to get me to,
Correct.
insert comment here. So it's kind of like you have that in the back of your mind, but then again, it's the way you approached it.
Well, and I think that did make a lot of difference. And I sat there, put a lot of thought into what I was going to email her. I didn't go into huge detail about anything. Just asked if I could meet with her. Like,
Yeah.
So, right, Jess? That's what I didn't want to come across like, for real. I was drawn to you. The fact was, oh boy, I saw that picture in the post and boom, it was right there. But
Yeah.
I didn't know how to reach out. I didn't know. And so I finally figured out by stressing about it, by talking to other mediums about it. And finally, I just had to sit with it. And again, I had to say, this is impressive on me for a reason, and I'm going to contact her. So I did put a lot of thought into the way that I sent the email, and she was grateful and beautiful. And yeah, it was a teaching moment for me, a huge teaching moment. However, I did ask my spirit guides, please don't do that to me often. I got the message. Because that was very uncomfortable. It was also not about the faith. It was about me overcoming my own uncomfortableness with it.
And the other point too is, that's something else mediums deal with, especially when we're new, is you have this impulse to tell somebody something. You have a message, but you struggle with, do I or don't I? Most I will not, like, I call it doing the Teresa Caputo. I would not walk up to a stranger and give, no, that's like ethical boundary. No, you don't do that. So when people do have these messages, they stress, well, I have this, I need to give this, and the point I'm trying to make is, no, you don't. Just because you feel a certain way or have something that you feel needs to be said to somebody, it's still your decision and your free
Yes.
will to just say no. And there's
Yeah,
no ill will
absolutely.
to saying no, so just don't, let that, rule your decisions. Just because you can doesn't mean you should,
Yes,
if that makes
exactly.
sense.
Yeah. And we've talked about that before. Some mediums like going up to people just in the grocery store or whatever. Somebody told us the story about that. Who was that?
I've
It
I've
was
had
Charlie
I've
Kelly.
I've had horror stories about,
Yeah.
people have this thing in their mind, it's going to be a beautiful moment, and it ends up being that everything but a beautiful moment, because
Right.
these people are going through possibly the worst thing you can experience, the loss of somebody. And here's some stranger who doesn't know them talking about their loved one. You don't know what mindset that person's at, where they are, so it's one of those, it's like, no, just stay away.
Yeah. And that's what made it a little bit hard for me as well. But as always, I don't, I asked her,
Right. And
are you,
again, the way you
are
approached
you,
it was
yes,
very, you know,
yes. I'm here if you are, no big deal. If you're not,
yeah,
much love to you. That was literally it.
yeah,
So it was beautiful. Uh, Becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. I had to learn that through that. And also on our live last week, uh, I was reading and a gentleman came through with some very specific information, very specific. And nobody could claim him. However, I knew that he was here. And there was one piece of information. If he had not given me that piece of information, quite a few people could have claimed him, but I could not give on that piece of information. It was very important. So nobody was able to claim him. The next evening, I had an in-person session,
hmm,
and here he comes again. Here comes the man that makes the lures, right? And is telling me specifically where his cremains are. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. I've got a sitter in front of me right now. Like, this is exactly what happened last night. And I had that, that doubt, right?
yeah,
Surely this is not for him. And it just would not go away. He gave me the very same information that he gave me on the live, um, for evidence and a message. And so I was like, okay. So I just did it, and it was 100% my sitter's father. It
yeah,
was so wild. And so there again, I had to sit on the live in that uncomfortableness because it doesn't happen to me. Right? I'm like, I'm on a live. Surely somebody can claim him. He is here telling me this very, very clearly. But nobody could. So I sat in that uncomfort, and after that, there's always the question, because without a doubt, right, that they were
yeah,
here, what they were telling you. So I let that go and then stepped into my reading the next night, and here it comes with and I was like, oh, now you're in your head, which got me in my head more, right? Because I was thinking, what is going on? Uh, but again, I just had to lean in because it just kept coming.
yeah.
And there it was.
And it's
There.
difficult because you told me like the same information was coming through. So you're like, this can't be right because this is the same thing that came through.
Yes. Yeah. It was
Um,
very strange.
and and again, I guess the reason we're going in this direction is we're talking about trust, which is
Yes.
always a huge topic. But I remember I did these in-person dems at this one location, I think either at least 2 or 3 times. So the first time, and I still remember, this young girl would come through for this group of people. Basically, she was a cheerleader. She passed and like at a bonfire. It was a party. First night, nobody, first time nobody took it. I was like, okay. So I do an event probably 6 months later, and here she is again. I was like, what is with this girl? Finally, the third one, I do it again, and there she is. And then it clicked for a few people. Oh, that's what's her name. Yeah, she passed, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
Yeah.
it took 1.5 years, but it had happened so long ago. But I mean, again, I had to trust because she is
It's
here.
like, again,
She is
right.
here.
It's easy to dismiss and think that you're just in your head, or
Yeah.
to think, surely not. Like
Yeah.
or like
So,
me, take a deep breath and try to reset again, and there it is again. And that's when I'm like, okay, here we go.
so everybody it's a lesson in just trust. You just got to talk about what you're experiencing. And Jess has a good question. First, she's calling us old since we've been
What'd
doing
she
this for
say?
so
Oh,
long.
okay.
But she's saying, how often does spirit switch things up for you guys? And I'm assuming you mean like changing up how you receive your information. I got to say, this is my opinion. In the beginning, yes, that happened a lot. Like I used to really depend on clairvoyance, and it was going great for a few weeks, and all of a sudden did a reading and it's like I'm not seeing anything. But now I'm hearing him, I'm hearing thoughts. So it's like, okay, so there they are. Get comfortable with that, and then all of a sudden I'm getting things in a different way. So I really think it's the person in spirit, just like we have our strengths and weaknesses. Again, it's all theory, but I believe the person in spirit coming through has their way that they prefer to communicate through. So maybe they were very visual. That's the easiest way for them to get information across is by implanting, visions for
Right.
us to grab onto and comment about. Um, so again, it's an important lesson, and you have to start to realize you have to be open to all of it. And after a while, they do start to blend. I'm at a point now where I don't think about how I'm getting the information. It's just that clairsentience. And my understanding of clairsentience is when all the clairs come together
Into
into
the
one
knowing. Hmm.
and a knowing. Yeah, I don't even think about how I'm getting it. It just comes through. I just know I
Yeah.
need to say X, Y, Z. And I know that was a long answer, Jess, but that's the only way I talk. I'm never short and succinct. It's always just drawn out.
So I want to answer that question though, because I went for a very long time just kind of developing and learning, new things. Um, but I do have to say, in the last maybe 6 to 8 months, uh, my mediumship is switching up. It is different. I can tell it's kind of going into a different gear, right? Uh, and it's not a subtle learning curve. It just kind of happens for me. And then I'm like, oh
Mhm.
my God, what was that? And then I have to then I have to learn around it, right? I have to develop, excuse me, around it. So it's been happening a lot to me lately. And I think that that's just, I don't know, it's just like a growth spurt or something. Um, I don't
Yeah.
know what the hell it is, to be
And
honest.
the thing is, it's so quick. And for those that are still, maybe at the beginning of your development, you got to understand that. And for people that, don't practice mediumship, to give you an idea, it's literally, when spirit comes through with a message, it's like this. Like if I hold this up, that's it. That's
Yeah.
how quick the image is. So I have to just talk about right then and there what I just experienced. If I give it a chance or I try to ask, bring it back, then my mind comes into play, and then I can just go off on a different,
Yeah.
um, storyline. And I'll I'll try to give you a brief example. Is a class I took, the teacher was like, don't turn a lake into a wildlife retreat. And what he meant was, if spirit comes through and they just say, talk about the lake, that's all I need to say. I need to talk about this lake. The sitter, the family that I'm reading for, is going to understand what that reference is. But if I let that story develop in my mind, your mind is going to create something completely different. And his example is, I see a lake. Oh, but now I see this trees. I see this vast, scene developing behind it. I see the wildlife. And before you know it, he's in Australia on some remote island, and the sitter's going, I have no idea what you're talking about. When all the person in spirit wanted you to say was, talk about the lake. That's all you need to say. So again, spirit communication is very quick, very quick.
It's funny that you did that card thing, because when I teach mediumship, that's one of the first things I do is I walk around with the card and I pop it up like that.
Yeah.
And then what was on the card? What was the message? And then I just get these blank stares. But I do it to every single person in the class. Like,
Yep.
that's because that's really how quick it is.
It is. So great question, Jess. All right. Well, I guess we could just jump in and kind of start doing some readings.
Do some readings. Let's do it. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, we'll start with that.
General guidance questions.
If you want guidance, ask a question. It has to be specific. We're going to put this on you because you're just not going to get general. Everybody general. No. Have a question. That makes it go quicker. If you have a question or a topic we can kind of just zone into.
Cheyenne, are you still here? Cheyenne Sullivan. Sorry, I just had a little something come through and I looked up there and I feel like it belongs to Cheyenne. So I'll see if she's here. And it's just like a quick. Cheyenne, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like there's something switching up when it comes to job or career. There's something in motion for you. It might even just be a thought at this point in time. Do you understand that?
And we wait.
We wait.
Can I just answer a question really quick for Michelle?
Yeah.
Or wait.
Yeah.
So Michelle, remember you asked the question, so Spirit's going to come through with the answer. So just remember that. Oh wait, I'll go back to it after.
Okay. I do feel that change, and I just want to say really quick that is going to have a positive outcome. I do feel a positive outcome with that, and I also feel like your thought to do a different type of work is actually going to be a good thing for you. So that just popped in when I saw your name. So like, keep going. I just want to tell you, it's okay. Keep going. I do see positive things on the end of this. For some reason, I'm also seeing a cat. Cheyenne, do you have a cat in spirit? It looks to be yellowish or orange. Can't really differentiate between the two colors in spirit. Again, it's that quick flash.
Yeah.
There is this little kitty. I'm just going to go ahead. There's just this little kitty cat, yellow-orange cat that pops in and says hi when I'm in your energy talking about work. So I'm going to leave that with you, Cheyenne. Thank you for being open.
Okay. So Michelle had asked, will I find a boyfriend this year? There's Cheyenne says
she doesn't have a yellow or orange cat. Okay, I'm going to go back to the yellow or orange cat here in a minute.
So really quick, Michelle. So this is the card I got. So unlikely, but let me just give you what I'm feeling intuitively. I feel that you still need to work on yourself before you're ready to bring somebody in for a relationship. I still feel there's trust issues. That's what I'm feeling that you still need to work on. And I just feel that this is stemming from just naturally where most of us get that seed planted is during our adolescence. So I just feel like there's that trust issue that you still need to work on before you can make room for a relationship. I think it's, and this is going to make sense for more than one person, but again, it's being okay with yourself, loving yourself, being okay with yourself, not needing somebody, if that makes sense, right? You don't need somebody, but you want somebody. There's a big difference. So I just feel it's like a little bit more work on your part before you're ready for that relationship. I don't see future, so I can't give you a time frame. That's what I'm feeling.
You're welcome,
Nancy,
Sheldon.
Nancy has an interesting question. Who was the spirit that communicated with me in an out-of-body experience when I was a teenager? So it's so different when we do readings from the chat. But again, we talked about trust earlier, so I'm just going to go what I'm feeling for you, Nancy. Did somebody in your family, your parents, was there a miscarriage in the family? Because that's what I'm feeling like. I feel there was a sibling that didn't make it into the physical world. That's who I'm feeling was there to communicate with you. And then I'll leave it. I'll just wait for the response. We can wait for, or we can move on, but just to make sure we keep moving. But that's what I'm feeling.
Interesting.
I don't know if you felt anything with that, but
I didn't actually. I was listening to you.
okay.
I could tell the seasons, the pollen is on the trees.
Oh yeah.
And the flowers and all the things. Okay, let's see. We got here. Hello, Nicole. Renee. Sorry, guys. We're just scrolling for a minute.
Oh my God, Corey, I'm so sorry. My cousin just passed away within the last 2 days from the flu.
My aunt was 70.
I will say this, Corey, before we try to connect, and this is, this is a question we get asked a lot, is do we meet up with our family and friends on the other side? And the answer is absolutely. Anybody that you're connected with during this lifetime is going to be there for you when you cross over and return back to spirit. So that's just that's a definite, anybody we're connected with, they're going to be there. They're going to be there together. I'm just trying to see my aunt. And if you get anything, Jen, you can go first. But I'm just trying to connect that. With your aunt, Corey, would you understand your aunt? She's showing me bingo. So I want to just start with that. Would you understand reference to bingo for your aunt? And I'm also feeling that, sorry, I'm just going to go with what I'm feeling. Would she drink a beer every now and then? Because she's showing me like drinking a beer. And I'm getting an overall sense to the question you asked. Like she's showing me like we're okay. Because she's just giving me this sense, like it's almost a reassurance that we are fine where we're at. But if you understand those references, just let me know. I'm trying to see what else comes up for her. Did they try to take, and when I say they, the DMV or did they try to take her driver's license away? Because I'm seeing a reference to like not being able to drive. Like somebody took my license. And I'm gonna wait right there. I don't want to give too much more information without some kind of validation. So Michelle Bannon is collect. So what can you validate, Michelle? And you have to be able to take all of it, not just bits and pieces. I always mean to clarify that at the beginning when we go into readings.
Yeah, and I'd still like to know if Corey could claim any of that.
Yeah. So again, I'm going to wait for Michelle just for a few minutes. If you got anything, Michelle, Jen.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for her to hop on. I have I'm working through a song in my head. I can hear it. And I want to get it. So
And this is why mediumship is difficult during these lives, because it takes so long for people to reply, and we kind of just hold up and wait and wait and wait,
yeah.
and it just that's why we prefer just to do maybe a little bit of mediumship, but the rest of it just guidance, because it does in a show like this, an hour long, it just takes up too much time. My mom hit somebody last week and they tried to take it. Okay, do you understand the rest though? The bingo would have to fit, and also the drinking of the beer. Let me just see what else comes up though. Michelle, I just got to say this. Was your I feel like an apology. She's trying to apologize for being impatient, and I feel this has to do with her raising you. Like she's making me feel like I wish I would have taken the time to like explain things a little bit more rather than just take action, if you will. That's the word that comes to mind. Like if you did something that was perceived as wrong, instead of taking the time, she would just get after you. But I feel like she wants to make an apology for that. That resonates. Okay, Michelle. Were you recently at her gravesite? Because she just showed me the grave. And I'm seeing an image of a deer by her grave. So now I'm really confused. So your mom is still alive? Okay, so Corey is saying my aunt did play bingo sometimes. She would drink a beer at her holiday parties and sing for everyone. Not sure about the license though. Okay.
So I do want to say something here because what I'm getting with her when Michael was talking was a lot of music, but okay, I was getting it. I remembered the name. I was getting like a Pat Benatar, like is it Benatar?
Yeah.
Hit me with your bus shot vibe, and that's what was coming through. So that that's just kind of the energy that I'm feeling of your aunt. So I'm wondering if you can validate that for me. And I do feel like this would be well, I'm just going to wait for you.
So Corey, the information I was given about Michelle's
Yes,
mom
I
that I
can
thought was
hear the music.
okay.
She has the look too. Like she reminds me, like in her younger days, she would have wore the leather pants. Like she has a whole vibe kind of going on. Just know that she's okay, and know that that song "Hit Me with Your Best Shot" is coming through. Like it's just coming through from her. That was the the loudest thing. Like I got to figure out the song. Okay, Michael, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I have to go back to Corey. So Corey, the information I was passing that I thought I was talking about Michelle's mother that had passed, did that information make sense to you about the being not taking time to explain things, but getting after you, if you will, or after her children and not thoroughly explaining things, like having more patience, like explaining why I got upset or why you shouldn't do something like this? Because this is coming from a person in spirit. This is not from somebody who's still in the living. And then okay. I'm thinking that yes is to what I just said. I hope it's so hard sometimes to keep up with the comments. Or was that yes from you,
I
Jennifer?
think that's still the Pep Benatar, yes.
Okay.
I haven't seen. I've been watching. She said she was like a mother to me when I lost my mother at
Okay.
17. She definitely acted that way.
Okay, so that was for you then, because again, I know this was coming from the person in spirit that was here. But yeah, that's funny because Jen, the way you talked about, that's what I felt about her. She
Yeah.
she wasn't like an aunt from the 1950s. This
No.
woman was like, I feel like rebel. That's why she was showing me the
Yeah.
drinking and the beer. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
That
just
was just the whole vibe when you were talking. She does like boom.
and as far as your cousin, I'm not feeling her. I know she's there, so don't even question that. She is there. If she gives me something, I will definitely pass it. Let me just really quick see if you're, I believe you said it was your 7-year-old cousin. Did she have some kind of heart issue that she was dealing with? I feel this is something that she was born with, because that's where I'm feeling drawn to, like to talk about something with either, is it congenital? Something that's not developed fully. I don't know if you can validate that, but I'm drawn to the heart, because what I'm feeling is you already told us the flu, but I feel like this condition just exacerbated the situation. And she keeps showing me this blue blanket. I need to talk about a blue blanket. And I don't know if she wore it like a cape. Okay, yes, her heart was weak and that contributed to, okay, so that's just her way of validating she's also here. But do you understand the reference to the blanket? And she's showing me like putting it on like a cape. So I'm just going to go with the message, okay, from your cousin, because she was autistic, loved her blankets. Okay, so that's just her validating. This is what she's making me feel, and she's preference. I got to learn how to speak English one of these days. The first thing she's making me aware of, okay, is you're not going to understand this on a human level, and she's explaining it from a spiritual point of view. She is making me feel that when she came into this world, into the physical world, she was not going to be here long. She knew that on a soul level. But she's making me feel that just in that short time, I can't even put into words how she makes me feel. It's like instantly you fell in love with her. It was just something about her energy that just brought people together. And I feel that was her purpose. There's something about her bringing people together. So I don't know if there was strife within the family, but around her, it's like she was like the glue. But she just wants you to know that she's okay. Your aunt is okay. They are together. So thank you, Corey. And we're sorry for your loss.
Oh, that's okay, Greg.
Oh,
I know.
yeah, Greg, don't worry about it.
And if you could take any of that, take that. We always talk about that, like spirit being very intelligent, right?
Yep.
And being able to relay messages to more than one person.
Thank you, Jess. Hello, Tanya. Oh, good. And she's going to continue to do that from the other side, too.
Awesome.
All right. Let's go back through and.
That's what I'm doing real quick. Scrolling back through.
And again, we try to get to as many readings as we can during this hour-long show. So if you don't get a reading, please don't take it personal. We just kind of go with who we're drawn to. And it's not even really us. Spirit kind of like pulls us towards a certain person. That's just how it works. So don't think you're being skipped. That's not what this is about. The only way to guarantee a reading is if you can book one with Jen or I. But like I said, during a format like this, we just try to get to as many as possible, and they're going to be really brief, just quick messages. So we like to get to as many as we can.
Good evening, Kim. Hi, Tanya.
And we only read for one person at a time. So if you've already had a reading, we're kind of going to move on to somebody else. I'll stop talking now, Jen.
No, you're okay. I didn't know if you were going to read for Jess Rain.
No.
Or
no,
okay.
I was waiting on you to pick.
Okay. I didn't know if you had chosen that. I was just like, huh. Okay. I do have a male in spirit here. He feels like a contemporary, meaning of your peer group, so possibly a classmate or a friend. For some reason, he's drawn. I want to say 27, and that feels like that could be an age, which is strange because I generally don't get that age, but he would be that age or very, very close to it. I'm being drawn to that 27.
Can you say that again? Because I just started, when you said 27, I
Yeah.
started paying attention. What was the first part? Because this sounds like my brother.
Oh, no. Okay, so I do feel like that this is a male in spirit, but I feel a contemporary. I feel definitely in your peer group.
Yeah.
Is this stepbrother?
Yeah.
Okay. And the 27?
He passed at 27.
Okay. Yeah, he's definitely telling me 27.
I don't want to claim it, but what you say makes sense to me already. So if it makes sense to anybody else out there, please chime in.
Okay.
I just felt him say, like, pay attention, dipshit. So I was like, whoa, what?
You're like, oh, let's go back. Oh, now I feel on the spot.
No.
Okay, hang on just a second. Yeah, what's weird though is I was just saying I rarely get an exact age, but he was very specific about the 27. Again, this was a learning thing because I hesitated there for a minute. I was like, 27? Yes, he tells me 27. Okay, and so being a stepbrother, that's why he would feel as a contemporary to me as being in your peer group. Okay, thank you. So that helps me. Makes a little bit more sense to me. Okay. He's also making me feel that, did you not meet him until later in life?
Yeah, we didn't meet until we were both in like.
Okay, because he's
20s.
not. Okay, because this is a thing when he comes across, he makes me feel like although he was a step brother, you didn't know each other very long in this life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our parents met and married when we were both in our 20s.
Okay. Do you know I would see a wrench with him?
Yeah, because he was a mechanic.
Okay.
We can tell him to bugger off now so we can go to somebody else.
No, he's here to talk about your bike, though. It really is mostly just like, do you feel him as a passenger on your bike at times? Pay attention.
I'm not going to share the image he's showing me right now. So
pay attention. Just pay attention. Yes. Okay, just pay attention, and I'm going to leave that there for you because I know you know exactly what's going on there with him. And I'm going to thank him for coming through.
I can't share the visual, so
okay, if you know, I'm going to leave it there. Except he laughs.
Yeah, I'm laughing too because I'm like, dude, really?
All right, cool.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Like I said, you started going. I was like, when you said the age, I'm like, I heard somebody
Wait.
say, pay attention, dipshit. I'm like, wait, what did you say? Did you say brother? I'm like, okay.
Funny. Okay.
All right. Let's see who's next. Tanya. Tanya Rideout. Are you still here, Tanya? Do you have a question about anything? I appreciate it, Jen. But yeah, it's like when our family comes through, it's like, dude, we can do this later.
I know, we do too. We're like, what are you doing? I feel like my brother's done that a time or two.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just come back later.
Okay, Tanya's here. Okay, no questions. I feel like I want to pull a card for Tanya.
Okay.
So I got my angel answers, but let me just see as I connect with your energy what I'm pulled to talk about. I will say this right away. It's going to make sense to more than one person, but Tanya, the first thing I need to talk about, you need to take back your power. And what I mean is you're trying to fit in instead of stand out. So what I'm just going to say this how I'm feeling it. You need to work on yourself, and what I mean by that is you have to work on not caring what other people think. Don't let other people dictate or influence you to be a certain way. I don't know if you're a parent, but that's sticking out. It's like you need to be who you are and not take advice from people that are trying to tell you to be this way. I just want to see if that fits before I go on. Working on that. Okay. So I don't know then if this is coming from your mom. Would you understand that kind of from mom kind of being, and I say this with a lot of love, but was she overbearing? Because I think that plays into what first came up about you maybe finding it difficult to be your own person. My parents, and so she tries. Okay, so that's why I was feeling that. This has to do also with boundaries. And again, you can be respectful, but you have, and again, this is part of the message. You have to voice what you're feeling. Don't keep it bottled up, because that's where that resentment is going to begin. So again, you can say it in a loving way, but you just need to explain, because I don't feel your mom really understands or realizes. She is doing what she feels is best. And I feel it is that way. It is from a place of love, but I feel it's just, you just have to voice your feelings about it. Okay. I really need to learn how to speak English, because my God, I struggle with words.
Okay, sorry, Michael, but I just have to say one thing. He just is here. I got to go back to your brother for a second. He's just acknowledging a birthday in May. Like
my wife's birthday's in May.
He's saying happy birthday, and that has to be said. That, like, he's just acknowledging, and he's saying happy birthday.
So Sheila's, her birthday's in May.
Okay. I couldn't let it not. That was one of those. Okay, that's all. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I will definitely let her know.
And watch out,
Jason,
for pranks.
So Tanya, it's just about, stand up for yourself. All right, let's see. Who's next? You pick. Your turn.
Well, we have 5 minutes. Do you want to do a collective message with just a collective?
Yeah, we can do that. This hour flew by. Oh my God.
I know it did. I just looked down and was like, oh, we have like 5 minutes.
Holy.
So I'm going to pull a card. What deck are you using, Michael?
I am just going to pull from my angel answers. You're welcome, Tanya. Tanya. I don't know. It's Tanya, right? I'm sorry. I keep saying Tanya. So what we're going to do now, since we're almost to the end of our hours, we're each going to pull a card for the collective. If you've never seen our show or what that's about, is we're just going to pass a general message that will apply to everybody. Jen's going to do one, then I'll do one, or vice versa.
Okay, can I answer this question though?
Sure.
Can you go back to that? So there was another question following that up. I just got pulled to this chat. Maybe I need a message from my loved one. What I wanted to say to you was we're almost out of time, so we're not going to be able to make another connection this evening. But you can do this for yourself. You can get a message for yourself by simply sitting and asking. You can sit and write, and you can get those. You can get those messages. Anybody can. Right? You can get those messages for yourself. And that's one thing that I try to teach clients. I know Michael does as well. When somebody comes to see me, and we try to talk about it on here as well, that mediums are nice, right? But it doesn't take a medium to get those messages. And that they're speaking to us all the time. They're speaking to us through
deer antlers,
dreams, symbols, yes, physical, tangible items, music, animals, like you name it. The spirit is always speaking with us and sending us messages. So maybe that's the message for everybody tonight. I don't know. Maybe that's the collective message.
Yeah.
Is that you just need to, just be aware. Be aware and I always say acknowledge and be thankful as well, because that's when you will begin to see more of them. When we begin to acknowledge them.
And somebody had asked too, real quick, and that was the comment that was up just a second ago. How do we get pulled? And that's just it. It's like we just get drawn to somebody's name, and that's spirits. The way they work is they kind of just they focus our attention on a person in the chat. So that's how it works through a forum like this. And it's the same thing when we do in-person DEMs, where you have a group of people like John Edward, Teresa Caputo. We just kind of get pulled. We get a connection. Somebody comes through, we feel a spirit move into our awareness. We start talking, and then we're kind of drawn to who that message is for. Thank you, Cheyenne. Yeah, we're back every Friday. So every Friday at 7 p.m. Central. And I'm still going to pull a card here. So this is for the collective. So I'll just see what the message is. So this is the card. The situation will improve. So if you're going through a difficult period right now, which a lot of people are, that's life. What I'm feeling, the intuitive message I'm getting with that is don't give up. It's like, if you give up, you may be right at the moment of that breakthrough. So I feel it's just, keep going. Don't quit. It's persistence. And have faith. Have faith in yourself. You're capable of much more than, you give yourself credit for. That's speaking to me too. We all beat ourselves up and think this is for everybody else, whatever the situation is. This can't possibly be for me. I am not worthy of that. I don't deserve that. That's the kind of mindset that we need to shift away from, because anything you put your mind to, you're capable of. And again, people, our peers, our family, they have a really heavy influence on, opinions about us, right? And again, it's not, I don't think it's malice. I feel people are looking out for us, but in the end, you have to be your own person, and you have to do what you're going to do, what feels right for you. So again, it's about boundaries and just, being who you're meant to be.
And that's kind of how we started this show, isn't it?
Weird, yeah.
In a roundabout way of talking about that. Awesome.
Yep. So.
All right, okay. Well, next Friday, we'll be back 6 o'clock.
We'll be back. No, 6 o'clock.
Oh, sorry, 6 o'clock my time, 6 o'clock Mountain time.
7 o'clock
Central Time.
8 o'clock Eastern.
Correct.
And if you're in the UK, it's like the middle of the night. So it's like
10 a.m.
Like 2 in the morning right now.
Oh, and it's 10 a.m. in Australia, right?
8, 9,
Yes.
10. Yeah, somewhere around there. But it's Saturday morning there.
That's so weird.
So again,
All
everybody, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we hope to see you next
And don't
week.
forget to go outside and look at the pink moon. Don't forget to go look at the full moon tomorrow. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.